Alright, it is a new month, which means it is time to do a cover impressions video, so got the stuff going, and yeah, double stamps at Barnes & Noble, that's where I normally start, and hopefully I'm going to get this out July 4th, so it'll end the next day, but yeah. Funny thing is, technically this is the third time I've started recording this video. I never got too far, for what it's worth, I never got too far in it. First time was because I forgot to turn on the mic. Yeah. Anyway, I think all the bestsellers I've looked at. So, yeah, and that doesn't look particularly interesting. It's just like legitimately, this is the only one of these that I haven't looked at in one form or another, I believe. Or at least looked at and been like, yeah, no. I mean, it's like, why would I look at that one? So, it's like, it's literally just a quarter. It doesn't even have a name yet. So, anyhow, let's look down here. Everyone's talking about just seek immediate shelter, sure. Careless people, okay. Because this one I'm kind of curious about because of how you got the like a shark fin there, so I'm just curious. Sure, that one then as well. Every summer app. Come on, there we go. Seek immediate shelter at about 122. Immediate shelter by Vincent Yu. Okay. Alright, so let's take a closer look at this. So we have something resembling like a farmhouse, so I don't trust that that's a real house. Just looking at that, why you got the driver over here, but the you got people that have been driving over there enough. It just seems odd that these are perpendicular. So it also means you can't even, well, I guess you would walk in here and then gain access to the house. It just seems odd to have the house in the back like that, though. And there's a man door, but it's still, that's into a garage. I don't know. That's just a weird layout. But in any case, it is still a home. And we've got, this whole, it's in crosshairs. So, okay. Seek immediate shelter, as though, something is hitting you there. Seek immediate shelter itself is also reminiscent of like a Cold War era with the whole, hey, the missiles are coming in, seek immediate shelter. But this is, your home is being targeted. So, okay, what else we got here? Propulsive and poetic, a masterful debut. Oh, crap. I'm sorry, I'm always a little concerned today when you see, oh, it's a masterful debut. This is their debut novel, and isn't that wonderful? It's like, is this being juiced up? Is this not actually that good? They're just trying to make it sound good? I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it concerns me. Found work about connection. Okay. Compelling and cinematic. So, propulsive kind of tells us something. This, I think, tells us more work about connection. So it's like, okay, there's something to do here, but that's much. I do also find that interesting. All three of these are from other authors. It's not a reviewer. Which, I mean, I don't have any issue with that. It's just an odd thing to observe, because normally you'd expect pull quotes like that to be from somebody that is a book critic, not just a review, not just an author. Now, true, I do believe authors should also review. Any creator should be some kind of critic. But, yeah, that's still a little interesting. Alright, After a false alarm causes the town to spiral into chaos and confusion, the community confronts the harsh truths of their panicked decisions in this clever, thought-provoking story of survival, loyalty, and betrayal that was inspired by real events. Also sounds like an episode of The Twilight Zone, where there was in fact a bunker, and the family who owns it gets in there. There's a neighbor who's very rashly trying to get in, and I'm trying to remember. No, nobody gets shot, but the bunker is damaged. And then turns out it was a false alarm, but it still is. It exposed to their family, who the neighbor was and such. So, all right. But so that's not anything against this. It's just is a story that has been told at least once before, at least from that notes from the book settle. Let's look at the rest of this blurb though. Breathtaking debut novel about survival, hope, and second chances in an Asian American community in Massachusetts when a false missile throws the residents' lives into chaos. False missile. I'm hoping that gets explained. Otherwise, unremarkable warning. The residents of a small town in Massachusetts all receive the same alert. Ballistic missile threat inbound. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Okay, when is this supposed to be? Because it just seems odd. They all receive the same alert. It's like, that makes it sound like it's coming out on your phones, which means that this is a very modern story versus if it were set during the Cold War where it's broadcast over the radio. It's like, that's how everyone would get, but it just seems odd. It's like, it could also be, it is set then, it's just whoever wrote this doesn't know that that's different. Confronted with the options of fight or flight, you gonna fight the missile? Planning or panicking, you should already have your plan in place for something like this. People of Beckett are stripped to their basest instincts and revealed as their truest selves. Not necessarily. If you planned and you've practiced that, you're not going to have that problem. But anyway, Russ squeezes his family into the bathtub, leaving his own survival in question. You go to the basement. If you got one, otherwise it's just an interior room. Maybe that's the bathroom. What? Nina sends an unforgivable text to it. Okay, so it is. We have cell phones. Millie confesses her unrequited love, and David hits the gas, speeding away from his wife and child. Okay, so David's an asshole. Then the second message comes in. False alarm. Police discard. All clear. First comes relief, then comes the reckoning, as each person is forced to face the unforeseen aftermath of decisions they thought might be their last. Vincent Yu's searing debut follows this eclectic cast of characters over a period of many years. I'll explain why I pause. Suggesting that the conflicts the missile exacerbated were simmering under the surface long before, and proving the ripple effects of the false alarm will be felt for years to come. An urgent, fiercely heartfelt exploration of relationships in all forms. See Community's Shelter explores the balance between love and loyalty, betrayal and forgiveness. Well, betrayal and forgiveness. What choices would you make if you thought your life if you thought your life was on the line? And if you survive, can you ever redeem yourself? It being told over many years, I have some issue with. It can be done. It can be done. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, I don't like the idea of there potentially being these grievances that are held onto for that long. Because like take David, who he ran from his own family. That shouldn't be years unless it takes that long to divorce him. It's like Russ squeezing his family into the bath. It's like, okay, so he's fine. I was like, there's not going to be a problem there. Nina sends an unforgivable text to her daughter, like, what, you're adopted? It's just, like, okay. So, it's also, who would do that? Who would be like, oh, I'm about to die. I'm going to insult people. Seems a little odd there. But still, it's like, I don't know. I can see it working. It's just, it's the days after, the weeks after, where it's still people are processing and such that I don't know. There's also something else that I find curious about, because the blurb itself, okay, so the unbolded blurb, this portion is just anywhere, right? But here it says in an Asian American community. And I find that curious. And also, I wouldn't think Russ, Millie, David, those don't seem like very Asian Asian names. Nina, maybe. But also, to be fair, I think that, depending on the time period, I think traditionally, or historically, I guess would be the better way to put it, a lot of Asian immigrants, when they came to America, they actually did, like, the very next generation, they were using American names. They weren't maintaining their at least for the first names, they weren't necessarily maintaining those from where they came from. I think that was something more common with that group than other groups. But yeah, I'm... Okay. Just things are... Wind definitely hit, and hopefully, we've been lucky so far. Hopefully, don't have any issues with power, but there's supposed to be a storm coming in. But yeah, so I know I get how this could be good, could be interesting, but I'm not feeling any connection here. Because it just... The years thing is what's really worrying me. The rest of it is a... I mean, it's possible, but I would need, like, somebody else that I know who's read it and then get something out of that. And maybe it's... Well, no. I don't do review. I don't read reviews here. I read the blurbs. But it is this would be something of I'd need to get somebody I know's opinion. Okay, it's not too old. All right, let's look at this next one. Careless people. And 30? Devney. Alright. Cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism. A memoir. Oh, goody. So I'm just concerned about that because, even that is actually a little bit similar in design for the cover of that, oh crap, what was it? Strangers, a memoir of marriage. That's it. I knew I'd done before, so I just needed to look up. But yeah, there are some things that are actually very similar here. Let's even come over here. Yep, here. Even some aspects of the coloring, how it's such a simple image there. #1 New York Times bestseller, #1 New York Times bestseller. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities there. All right. But it is still, cautionary tale. It's like, well, yeah, you got the shark fin there, which Jaws popularized as a threat. Also just occurred to me that the way you got this rounded off a square, that's just tilted back some, kind of makes me think of a key on a keyboard. Alright, let's see what we got. Mixing the personal angle of working at Facebook with the overarching stakes of what was happening behind the scenes. This is a sharp, scathing, and surprisingly funny narrative that speaks to some of the most pressing issues at the heart of the world today. There's literally nothing being told me here except, okay, apparently at Facebook. Whatever. Named the best book of the year by blah blah blah. Careless People is darkly funny and genuinely shocking. Not only does the author have the storytelling chops to unspool a gripping narrative, she also delivers the goods. You're again not really telling me anything. One of the world's most powerful media companies tried to snuff out a book, met other alarming attacks on free speech in America like this. It's time to pull out all the stops. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's like we've seen stuff like this happen before. I mean, it's like, oh no, here's one that it matters now. It's like, what about the others? Explosive memoir charting one woman's career at the heart of one of the most influential companies on the planet. Careless People gives you a front row seat to Facebook, the decisions that have shaped world events in recent decades, and the people who made them. Just out of curiosity, when's this from? Okay, last year even. From trips on private jets and encounters with world leaders to shocking accounts of misogyny and double standards behind the scenes. You really think that's shocking? I'm sorry. Behind the scenes with powerful people, obviously there's going to be double standards. Come on. This searing memoir exposes both the personal and the political fallout when unfettered power and a deeply rooted company culture take hold in a gripping and often absurd narrative where a few people carelessly hold the world in their hands. This eye-opening memoir reveals what really goes on behind the global elite. And I'm just thinking about, with the Twitter file stuff and how, oh yeah, and it turns out the US government also had people planted there. Sarah Wynn-Williams tells a wrenching but fun story of Facebook mapping its rise from stumbling encounters with juntas to Mark Zuckerberg's reaction when he learned of Facebook's role in Trump's election. She experiences the challenges and humiliations of working at motherhood within a pressure cooker of a workplace, all while Sheryl Sandberg urges her and others to lean in. His People is a deeply personal account of why and how things have gone so horribly wrong in the past decade, told in a sharp, candid, and utterly disarming voice. A deep, unflinching look at the role that social media has assumed in our lives. Careless People reveals the truth about the leaders of Facebook, how the more power they grasp, the less responsible they become, and the consequences this has for all of us. Yeah? What? Is there anything here that's surprising? I'm sorry, but it's like, okay, so you're giving me a narrative of stuff I would have already guessed. Like, even years ago, I would have guessed that, yeah, this is what's happening. I mean, because the people that created Facebook may not have been, and who were running it, might not have ever expected it to succeed the way it did. And they also certainly did things that were not particularly ethical in order to maintain that success. Things like buying up other companies that could potentially compete with them, and then, buying them so they can destroy them. It's like, yeah, they're not necessarily ethical people, and were putting themselves into situations that they're probably not prepared for. Yeah, I got no interest here. I'm sorry, it's just, maybe it's got potential, but not with me, because it sounds like stuff that, yeah, this is any of this supposed to surprise me? Am I supposed to be shocked by any of this? No. Alright. And now we got this one. What's the time? 17:27. Every summer after, by Carley Fortune. There. Okay, so we have the two people jumping in, like running out and then jumping off this small pier into a lake, presumably. Now that, I'm actually able to see that more full size, it does look like they could be teenagers, so, relatively young. So every summer after, this either could be a love story or it could be I know what you did last summer kind of thing. But these two, it could easily be a love story. Like, these two they grew up together, always spent their summers together kind of thing. This is one of the things that they did, and just how it went on from there. A Radiant debut would definitely suggest that this is going to be a love story, not I know what you did last summer kind of thing. Yeah, and honestly, I don't. It's an original series on Prime. I don't care. I'm sorry. And also, yeah, a Radiant debut and now an original series on Prime. Yeah, this seems like it was juiced up, or even that it was written to become a Prime show. Anyway, Fortune. Okay, just need to make sure. Last name of the author is Fortune. Draws on our nostalgic yearnings for simpler times in this stunning debut about young summer love. The gorgeous prose and relatable characters remind us of our temporary place in this world and how important it is that we cherish those we keep close. I don't. These notes from your bookseller are not that impressive. They're really not telling me too much. Alright, 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. Okay. Say you can never go home again. And for Persephone Fraser, ever since she made the biggest mistake of her life a decade ago, that has felt too true. Instead of glittering summers on the lake shore of her childhood, she spends them in a stylish apartment in the city, going out with friends and keeping everyone a safe distance from her heart. Till she receives the call that sends her racing back to Barry's Bay and into the orbit of Sam Flork, man she never thought she'd have to live without. I still don't quite... okay, she's got issues with this guy. Okay. I'm just... I don't know what's going on yet, is my confusion here. And I'm now getting to the third paragraph. For 6 summers through hazy afternoons on the water and warm summer nights working in his family's restaurant and curling up together with books, medical textbooks for him and work-in-progress horror short stories for her, Percy and Sam had been inseparable. Eventually that friendship turned into something breathtakingly more, but before it fell spectacularly apart. Percy returns to the lake for Sam's mother's funeral. Their connection is as undeniable as it ever has been, but until Percy can confront the decisions she made and the years she spent punishing herself for them, she'll never know whether their love might be bigger than the biggest mistakes of their past. Total of the course of 6 years in 1 weekend, blah, blah, blah. It's a nostalgic story of love and the people and choices that mark us forever. Okay, I really don't care. I really don't. And I will tell you exactly why. What's the mistake? I was like, it's just saying that, oh yeah, some mystery reason is why she never can go back. But now she has faith. What is the mistake? Okay, I mean, the fact that he was studying for med school, she apparently wanted to be an author, it's like, okay, was the mistake something like he made the mistake of like, I want to end this with you so I can focus on that? That would be a big mistake. I can understand that. We can work with that. If it's no, she got an offer and it's like, okay, in order for her to do this, she has to like really commit to it, has to leave him. It's like, that's a mistake. I can understand this, and let's work with it. Instead, it's just what? I have no connection here. And there's nothing giving me any connection. So yeah, it's just, I'm sorry, but there's also stories where, it's the 6 summers are like, yeah, what are you talking about? That was never serious. That was just what I did on my summers. When I got back home, that was life. That was real. This isn't. So, I mean, there's stories told like that. This is apparently kind of the reverse, but still, it's like, okay, why would I care about this one over any other? What makes me want to read this story instead of any other story? Got nothing. Alright, so yeah, moving on. And I'm going quick. But it's also, so far, I'm not feeling like I'm getting anything yet to not be quick about. I don't think I've read that one. I mean, nope, okay. I am curious. So yes, let's look at that one. No, it's sure, because it's right there. Alright. Demon Copperhead 2323. And I am also actually going to quickly prepare the next 2. So I'll only need to put in the times. I also just realized, why did I do it that way? I actually need to grab that. Okay, and then this. Okay. Alright, so taking a closer look at this. Oh wow, there's a lot going on. And we got birds. We do have a snake. I'm not sure if it's Copperhead. I wouldn't be able to recognize that at a glance anyway. Kid pulling a kite. We do have the rain here, so that might come through, and hopefully we don't lose power. Flowers there. A skeleton there. Pills falling towards the skeleton. A rising sun with birds there. So this, I think, more of water churning than of hills or mountains. There's a lot going on here. Okay, this is actually supposed to be kind of intense what is coming in, so let me just quickly look at the radar here. Also feels like it might be a little early. Yeah, but no, we're supposed to be in this for a bit. Which is luck on power. And also, well, hang on. Okay, when I'm talking, you might hear it, but it doesn't look like the mic picks it up directly. Alright, Alright. Pulitzer Prize winner. Women's Prize for Fiction. Top 100 book. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Demon is a voice for the ages, akin to Huck Finn or Holden Caulfield, only even more resilient. You want to convince me, Huckleberry, that this is more resilient, can be more resilient than Huckleberry Finn? Doesn't that book already have like a century on it? You think this is being that? Now, granted, I'm not recognizing Holden Caulfield, but it's also I'm annoyed by shortening it to Demon instead of Demon Copperhead. Use his full name, and I get it's like Huck Finn instead of Huckleberry Finn. I get that, but isn't he also referred? I haven't read it. Isn't he also referred to as Huck in the book? Like, I'm pretty sure I've heard him referred to as Huck. So, Huck Finn, and he's the titular character. It's like, that makes some sense, but I wouldn't shorten a book name like this to Demon. That's, yeah. Maybe the best novel of the year. Equal parts hilarious and heartbreaking. This is a story of an irrepressible boy nobody wants, but readers will love. From the excellent author of the Poisonwood Bible and the Beam Trees. You are not an... Oh, sorry. Acclaimed author. Let me get that closer. For whatever reason, I read acclaimed as accidental and was about to go off on that. That makes no sense. How did I... Okay. Boy novel that enthralls, compels, and captures the heart as it evokes a young hero's unforgettable journey into maturity. Okay, so it's a coming-of-age story. Thank you. It's in the mountains of southern Appalachia. Demon Copperhead is the story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single wide trailer with no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. So is she a single mother or a widowed mother? Because those are different things. And would have very different stigmas attached to them. Layden's own unsparing voice, Demon braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. Through all of it, he reckons with his own invisibility in a popular culture where even the superheroes have abandoned rural people in favor of cities. Okay, that's how it's always been. I'm sorry. Are there any... I can't think of any superheroes. Now, true, I'm only familiar with the most popular of them because I'm not really into comic books and such, but they're always in cities. I can't say they've ever abandoned rural towns because when have they ever been there? Short of Superman growing up in one, but still, he moved to Metropolis. Many generations ago, Charles Dickens wrote to David Copperfield from his experience as a survivor of an institutional poverty and its dangers to children in his society. These problems have yet to be solved in ours. We don't have debtors' prison anymore, and child labor laws. Do you want to try that statement again? Dickens is not a prerequisite for readers of this novel, but he provided its inspiration in transporting a Victorian epic novel to the contemporary American South. Barbara Kingsolver enlists Dickens' anger and compassion, and above all, his faith in the transformative power of a good story. Demon Copperhead speaks for a new generation of lost boys and all those born into beautiful cursed places they can't imagine leaving behind. I will grant this one has potential to connect with me better. Not that I know what it's like to be a lost boy, but it's like this blurb is much better than what I've seen thus far in this video. However, as I point out, it's like at the time of Dickens, you had debtor's prison, We don't have that today. Child labor laws would prevent some stuff that he potentially went through, or that David Copperfield would went through. So it's like, again, are there still problems with poverty? Yes. But a lot of it has changed from what it has been. So, no, I got problems there. And there's also, I am concerned with the whole comparing it to Huck Finn. Comparing it to David Copperfield. And it's just like, you're starting, it feels like you're reaching out to these things that, hey, you know these things, these are good. Now here's this. And I'm just, sell me on this, and then tell me that, oh yeah, I was inspired by that. Right? Sell me on this thing first. Because if you start reaching towards all these other things, that's telling me you're not confident in this. You're trying to use the value I may hold for those other stories to sell me on this one. No, sell me on this one. Tell me about this, the value of this story, to make me want to read this story. Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, it's only $3, but it's also like Huckleberry Finn or David Copperfield. Those might be public domain at this point. I could just look them up and find them and read them for free. Or just like go downstairs and find them on a shelf somewhere. I mean, it's a personal thing for me. I do grant that the whole, oh, you're just reaching towards these other things to try to pull us in. It's kind of like the whole with Hollywood. It's like they're always doing remakes and reboots and sequels to things that never needed them. I mean, it's like, and sometimes it works. A lot of time it doesn't. A lot of times it does not. So, yeah, don't do that, because I've been trained by Hollywood that that's a recipe for this not being good, and now it's what you're doing. All right. Yeah. So I'm. But I do acknowledge it is the best blurb thus far, so better than the 3 looked at before, and I see the potential. I do. It's just there's red flags for me, but that's somebody else might not see the same red flags. Need to be honest about that. All right, what are we looking at here? 3155. Okay. Hooked, which, I mean, immediately we got, the Japanese here. I think that's Japanese. Asako Yuzuki sounds more like a Japanese name than Chinese or Korean, and I don't think I'd be able to guess at any other Oriental nationality. Hooked, a novel of obsession, so it does seem the person is trapped here, is on the fish on the hook. Author of international bestseller Butter, okay. Translated by Polly Barton. Okay, so that is also interesting. So this is not originally in English. But also I do want to note the pull tab there. So this is, like, you're not only on the hook, you're already in the can, you've been processed. So that's part of the, I did notice that before I clicked on it. It's like, okay, I'm curious. I want to see what the blurb is here. A novel of obsession. So my guess is this is going to be some kind of love story, but a ill-fated one, or one that is an unhealthy love. So let's see. Let's see what we get here. Oh, I do not recognize what that fish would be, by the way. All right. Named a most anticipated book. Ooh, isn't that troubling? It's like, oh yeah, we think this will be good. Not saying, oh yeah, it was good. Comes a chilling and perceptive novel about obsession, female friendship, and the slow unraveling of 2 lives. Okay. Eriko's life looks perfect, from her prestigious job at a Japanese trading firm to a spotless apartment and devoted parents. New's project to reintroduce the controversial Nile perch into the Japanese market is as ambitious as she is, but beneath her flawless surface lies a consuming loneliness. Erika has never been able to hold onto a real friend. Okay, so I'm assuming the Nile perch is a kind of fish, because I know perch is a fish. And it's like, okay, so we get those out of the Nile. Alright. I mean, I guess you could transport those over to Japan, or you just breed them in Japan or near. It seems a little odd, but anyway. Enter Shoko, a popular lifestyle blogger whose work Eriko follows obsessively. Shoko lives a life of controlled chaos, messy apartment, takeout dinners, a kind, easygoing husband. She writes about daily contentment, though her fractured relationship with her father gnaws at the edges of her happiness. Okay, so she kind of sounds vaguely normal, but she also blogs, so that's going to be a... Look, I'll be honest, some of the stuff with bloggers like that, it can be concerning because it is a way to self-validate bad behavior. Because, like, oh, well, I'm doing it so that then I can write it up. I need to know about this experience so that I can write about it. It's like, that's very unhealthy. And I'm not saying that's what's going on here. I'm not. I'm just acknowledging that as a thing. So let's keep going. Orchestrates a chance meeting with Shoko. Why? The two women strike up an unlikely connection. The reason why I say why try to make it be a chance meeting, if you are this powerful and wealthy, you'd think you could just make the request. But it is also that this is parasocial relationship kind of scariness. So, for a fleeting moment, Eriko believes she's finally found what she's always longed for, but as her fascination turns to fixation, as Shoko's carefully balanced life begins to dissolve, both women are pushed to breaking points neither of them saw coming. Deftly translated by Polly Barton, Hooked is a taut, provocative novel about modern womanhood, the hunger for connection, and the quiet, ordinary ways our lives can spiral out of control. With razor-sharp insight and disarming empathy, Asako Yuzuki explores how far we'll go to be seen and what happens when the ones who see us don't like what they find. Maybe it is just because I'm a man. I don't have much interest in this specifically because it's two women. And it's just Eriko finding a man would be probably more beneficial to her life. Than just getting a girlfriend. So yeah, I don't quite see it here. I don't quite see it. If it were, I don't know. I'm just trying to think if it could be like if the interest were in the husband somehow, where it's like Shoko is constantly talking about her husband, and so Eriko, in still a parasocial kind of way, has fallen in love with him and is now going to try to get him, or at least befriend her to get close to him. I mean, it's like, yeah, but we are talking about a parasocial relationship here, but it concerns two women, and that does just seem kind of odd to me. Plus, there's no other women around her that she could talk to, that she can. Don't get me wrong, though. I do understand the whole. I do understand the whole forming parasocial relationship with somebody that is distant like this, specifically, and in some ways, specifically because they are distant. So you're able to invent ideas about them in your mind, not necessarily false ideas, or bad ideas, but just they would be wrong as far as like the way that they appear online or whatever. You start thinking, oh, I could have a friendship with them. That this is somebody that I feel I could like sit down and have a beer with, kind of thing. And it might be that that's not the case. That you turn on the mic, they're a different person. But not like that. Not like that. But that they present themselves differently. So, for example, Johnny Carson of The Tonight Show, when he was on the show, when he was on mic, he was in. He had the energy, he had the humor, he had all the charisma, everything. But if you ever met him in a private setting, like if you went to dinner with him, he would be quiet. He would just be sitting there, he'd be eating his meal, he'd be quiet, he'd be very reserved. And that's how some people are. That it is. They just, that's when they turn on. And I could believe that there are some streamers and such, YouTubers, all that, who, once the mic is off, they might not talk the rest of the day just because they don't need to. I can believe some of them are like that. Some of them probably are exactly the same. And also, to be clear, I am not suggesting that they are different people on and off. Some are. Absolutely, yes. But I just want to acknowledge that there are also some where, they're the same people. They would have the same motivation behind any reaction. But once the mic is on, now they're going to say it with yelling. Now they're going to be flailing around. Whereas otherwise, it might be a kind of thing. I mean, I do see the potential here. I legitimately do. It's just, it wouldn't connect with me because it's two women. So it's like, okay, it's not going to be, it's almost certainly not going to be a romantic relationship. It'll just be a friendship. It's going to be parasocial and potentially go kind of crazy. I do also find this interesting. Shoko's carefully balanced life begins to dissolve, but that's the live blogger, the one who shows controlled chaos. So, but is also married. So it is, and that actually does make me a little curious. How is the husband managing some of this? Because if it is, messy apartment, takeout dinners, kind, easygoing husband, it's like, how much of it is he the counterbalance? Like, he's the one where it's like, it's messy because he allows it to be, kind of thing. It was like, yeah, I get it, that's how you are. But, like, if Erica would get in here and start messing with it, he's like, okay, now I'm cleaning this up. Just as far as look, it's one thing when it's a bit, it's another thing when you're doing with this, when doing for this reason. So, yeah, I definitely can see the potential, even without that. I can see the potential, but I don't think I'd bother with it. This seems like much more, this is a book for women. And hey, nothing wrong with that. It's just, I'm not a woman. Alright. Silver Elite at 41.05. Well, 41.03, I guess, actually. Okay. Alright, so we have, I'm going to assume it is a dove. It looks like it, but in theory, they might have just, pushed whatever the bird is to white. Because just the color scheme here, it could have been any bird. We're just making it all white. But most likely a dove. We've got these tendril things. Some of them look to be fine threads that have splayed out with the dove caught in them. Silver Elite, so assuming that it's like threads of silver. Because some of the threads are in front of the bird, also suggests it is caged. I really got nothing other than, like, Silver Elite could be silver in age. Silver, like, grayed hair. Could also be, like, this is second generation, third generation, where it's like, the Diamond Elites were first, Gold Elite, or maybe Gold Elite were first, then Silver. So, yeah, either way, age or generation going on there. And something being trapped. And it's also, it should also point out, it is a white bird. The background is black, has stars in there, but black, so it is also an image of loneliness and isolation. So, yeah, my guess is that somehow these Silver Elite are holding somebody that they feel they can't escape. Either the Silver Elite are causing that, or this is a Silver Elite that wants to get out, but feels they can't. So, alright. Dystopian romance series. Okay, psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone. Whenever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. Okay, so obviously then that is the falling in love with their greatest enemy. But I'm curious what kind of psychic? Because yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. What is this kind of psychic? Because some kind of psychic is like, that's kind of funny that it's actually inverted. So here it's like that, here it's like that. Okay. And by the way, there was a rumble of thunder, so hopefully things keep going well. Ren Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. I don't like that that's capitalized. I mean, that shouldn't be a proper noun. On the continent, being modified, it means certain death. I can understand that one being capitalized. And Ren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. So, okay, you're made to be psychic. One careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy. She's forced to join the most elite training program. She's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside the ranks. Lie to everyone. But training for Silver Block can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with everyone who wants you dead. Okay, so it is Silver Elite, so she's elite, but she is going to be trapped inside of it. She's the bird. Got it. Don't fall for the grace. As the stakes grow ever higher, Ren must prove herself to Silver Block. That's easier said than done when the commanding officer is ruthless and infuriatingly irresistible. Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her. And as war rages between mods like her and those who aim to destroy them, Wynn must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself, how much of the continent is worth saving. It's a chick book. I'm sorry. It is. It is. Like, you kind of knew that even up here, dystopian romance series, and Don't Fall for Your Greatest Enemy. It's like, yeah, it's a chick book. And I'm sorry, no, I didn't think that was going to be the case necessarily, just from the cover. I didn't. It's also, a lot of this is fine. Like, a lot of this, it wouldn't bother me, even it being a romance series, like, on its own. This stuff, that's not, well, okay. This stuff is fine, but it's like the Fall for Your Greatest Enemy, it's like, okay, if you tone that down so it's more like found yourself attracted to, or whatever, just a different thing other than just Fall for Your Greatest Enemy. And also the infuriatingly irresistible, it's like, that is chick book language. I'm sorry, it is. Okay, it really is. So yeah, I would not, yeah. Because I'm not a chick. It does make me wonder, though, how many women would be interested in this? Like, because there's nothing wrong if this is the kind of book you want to read. There isn't. I'm just, what do they think it is? Like, are they going to be like, oh yeah, I know it's a chick book. I know this isn't high art or anything like that, but it's what I want to read, so I'm going to read it. That's fine. Go for it. But is there that acknowledgement from the women that this would be targeting? There is a, yeah, I know this is not going to be necessarily all that good, but it's like, it's what I want to read. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not sure if I have many books like that, but definitely I have movies like that. Where it's like, it's just what I feel like watching. I know it's not that good. That's okay. It doesn't need to be good. It needs to entertain me when I want to be entertained that way. Good. It should exist then. Happy for you. But it's also, I know that when I'm going to start watching this, like, yeah, it's not that good. I wonder how many of them know. And that's just a question. All right. Now we're on to Amazon. Okay. I'm sorry. This, I don't think this would be suitable to do here, but that's quite a cover. Seven and the Swift. Fine, we'll look at that one. Oh god, this sounds horrible. Let's look at that one. There's a part of me that is so tempted to look at the Road Atlas. I won't though. Okay, yeah, sure. That one I feel has potential. And I just want to, oh, okay, so it's book 3 as well. Just want to grab this stuff first. There. Oh my god, I hate Amazon links. It's just there's so much metadata kind of stuff in there. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll just clear that out. I don't need the format. Okay, there. Also don't need that it's a Reese Book Club pick. I mean, hey, good for you, but I don't need it in my notes. There, and then... Oops, if I highlight it in the correct direction. Come on, here we go. Alright, there, and just clean up that link. There, and actually I do need to clean up because Barnes & Noble also puts some metadata there, but it's not as severe. Okay. So there, we are looking at 49.20. I am really making good time. There. All right. So yeah, we've got. And I know I've seen another book be like that. Where it's got the plants or rather vine there that somebody has turned to wood. With the I'm not sure if those would be roses, but certainly red and white flowers. We've got a very ornate axe and a short sword. Okay, yeah, it does. Oh yeah, you can even see. No, that's not a short sword. But it extends all the way up there. They are both there. I don't see any other weapons, so it is indicating two people. Fight for the monster you love. Oh crap. It's like, am I gonna regret looking at this one? Find out. Stunning. Oh, okay. The final book in the epic, heart-pounding Shield of Sparrows. I'm sorry, but quotes would work or italics. You don't need it uppercase at all. Stunning, spectating collectibles only available on limited first print run in the US and Canada. Only a must-have for any book lover. It's like, I'm a book lover. I don't care. How about anyone who loves the series? Why don't we go with that instead? Is an epic slow burn romantasy. Kind of had that feeling already. Best enjoyed in order. There's the reading order. It's like, really, it's best to read in the order of 1, 2, 3. Right. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've done this one. Okay. Just I do want to have a sense fit, and we'll look at that. So now we've got a crown or a tiara of some kind up there, but is still kind of similar. Oh no, there is also a sword there for the monsters we make. Hang on just a second. What's the other one? Rites of the Starling. Okay, it is. I thought it looked familiar. I did actually a couple months ago. Rites of the Starling. Okay. Okay, so that makes some more sense then. All right. I just want to quickly look at this feature now in development. I don't care. My mortal's name is Neil. I've spent my life kneeling to their will and to my father's. As a princess, my only duty is wear the crown and obey the king. Correct. I was never meant to rule, never meant to fight, and I was never supposed to be the daughter who sealed an ancient treaty with her own blood. It's like, well, maybe. Changed faithful day. I stepped into my father's throne room. The day a legendary monster hunter sailed to our shores. The day a prince ruined my life. Now I'm crossing the treacherous lands beside a warrior who despises me as much as I despise him, bound to a future I didn't choose, and a husband I barely know. Okay. And wants to be something I'm not, a queen, a spy, a sacrifice. I refuse to but what if I refuse the role chose for me? What if I made my own rules? What if there's power in being underestimated? You're a princess. It's kind of a trade-off where it's like, okay, you get great privileges, but you also get great responsibilities. So, yeah. All right, so I just want to quickly look at this one. Our kingdom's on the, well, look at it again. Crux migration is coming in the wake of devastating attack. I'm lost, terrified, homesick, under by monsters, driven to exhaustion, and kidnapped by a powerful priest. The only thing keeping me going is logo counting me. Oh, yeah, I do kind of remember that. I was like, yeah, Audie had all that. What if I embrace my crown? Oh, well, you mean the thing that you were supposed to do in book 1? Maybe you should have. Too long I fear the monsters you make. It's time to discover the monster within. Oh yeah, and I do remember thinking how that was just so stupid. It's like, I mean, unless you like literally have been cursed, so there's a monster in you, I am believing this. No. I got nothing. I got nothing here. I mean, it's like an axe, which would suggest a powerful person. Was here. Yeah, I do kind of remember. It's like a sword and a dagger, so it's still two people implied with this one. But now that it is an axe here, I would suggest somebody stronger, more powerful, because that's a two-handed weapon. Whereas that sword there, that blade might be too long for it to be one-handed, but that... Oh, wait. Hang on. Oh, no. Sorry. Because of how dark it is down there, no, that is two-handed. So there is... It might be a bastard sword then, but it still is... Okay, so that's two-handed. Yeah, so it is still two people here. That is kind of a shame that we don't get any description here. I Yeah, I mean, we're so many months out, but it's still, you already have the cover, you're already advertising it. It's fair to have a blurb, at least part of one. So, yeah, sorry. If I had known that, I would have skipped this one, but I didn't know it, so looking at that, and I got no clue. Fight for the monster you love, it's like, okay, so I got no idea. Because, like, did she fall in love with the person that she didn't like? Is this somebody else? I don't know. I got nothing. All I could really guess from this is that, yeah, this is probably some kind of romantasy because medieval weapons suggesting fantasy, and then it's, with the flowers and such, the vines, the wood, that it's like, yeah, that is kind of a romantic kind of image as well. So really all I get out of it is that, and 7 and the Swift is not telling me anything either. So yeah, I just move on. 55-36. And I'm picking them very well, picking them very poorly this week. This month. Alright, novel of Abigail Adams. Okay. So, wife of John Adams. Fearless patriot, first lady, and the formidable force behind 2 presidents. Who'd be the other one? I don't know. As odd as it may sound, I can believe Thomas Jefferson. Because, oh wait, no, that's true. Wait, who was... Because there's John Adams, and then the other Adams. John Quincy Adams? Was that it? I can't remember what the relationship was, but I do remember they were related, so maybe it's that. But no, it's also, I couldn't believe it was Jefferson. One of the things we had to change early in this nation's history was how the vice president was elected. Because at one point, it was that whoever got the second most votes was vice president. So you had, I think it was Adams was president, Jefferson was second. Maybe I have that flipped, but it was still wait, we don't actually like each other, and we didn't want to work together here, and we're from different political parties. What? Why are we not? So we fixed that. But yeah, that did actually happen, and I'm pretty sure it was Jefferson and Adams. I just don't remember who it was that was president for that. But anyway, I find it exceedingly doubtful that a woman of that era would be wearing pearls. The dress I can maybe believe. The hat, no. The earring, the pearl earring, again, I'd have doubts about that. Picking cherries, okay. Yeah, I mean, this... Also, I would think that this would actually be a bit higher back. Like, I don't think there would be as much skin visible there, so unobscured there. So yeah, I don't... This doesn't look accurate. It looks kind of like they just took stock images and put it together, or somebody who's just like, oh yes, well, beautiful women wear pearls. It's like, did they back then? Did they back then? If they didn't back then, this is wrong. And I really doubt it, because I feel like synthetic pearls are more modern. Like, the thing that would actually make having a string of pearls like that accessible to many people might not have been a thing yet. But it is also true, they may have been just that wealthy. I'm not sure, but in any case. Time for the 250th anniversary of the birth of the United States comes a sweeping, intimate portrayal of Abigail Adams, wife of one president, mother to another. Okay, was the son. Whose wit, willpower, and wisdom helped shape the fledgling republic. Stunning historical novel with modern-day implications from New York Times bestseller, author of America's First Daughter, and My Dear Hamilton. And by the way, I believe she was actually, like, John Adams and she, I believe, were very close. Like, yes, she would have had significant influence. That because there were definitely some wives who would have been more in the background. She would have been in the background because that's what she was supposed to be at that time, but not with him. Like, she would not have been in the background with him. I think that is accurate for her character. Whereas other women would have been in the background because that's where they were supposed to be, but also would have been not necessarily communicating in equal ways, especially on politics. But more philosophy and such that would be involved there. So Let's get to reading the rest of this, though. Heart of revolutionary boss Abigail Adams raises her children amid riots, blockades, and the outbreak of war. Her husband, John Adams, rises from country lawyer to nation builder. Often away for years at a time, Abigail builds her own independence, managing their farm, making lucrative investments, amassing savings, battling plague and loss, and defending their home. Yes. I mean, there would have been, as I'm reading that, I'm just thinking, okay, that's how a lot of women were living at the time. But yes, no, I think that is a portrayal I've heard for her previously. That she was that strong and competent a person, not just for a woman, but for a person, was very, very good. So she would make a good woman to write a book on. For what, I'm not especially studied there, I'm just like, I feel like I've heard that in, like, some places, and it's just stuck in my brain, is coming out now. Hopefully my memory is accurate, and they're not making things up here. Unafraid to speak her mind, she famously offers fearless political counsel, urging John to remember the ladies in the new government. Through it all, she becomes his most trustworthy confidant and indispensable ally. It's like, yes, I'm dead serious for what I kind of remember hearing, but it's been a very long time and not something I would have specifically studied or specifically learned. I am pretty sure this is accurate. When peace is secured, Abigail steps onto the world stage, exchanging ideas with Thomas Jefferson in the French countryside, navigating court life as the wife of the Minister to Great Britain, presiding over the parlor politics of the early American Republic in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. Even after her husband's presidential administration, she continues battling political foes and working behind the scenes to advance her family, secure independence for the women in her life, and ensure a better life for the next generation of Americans. From war-torn streets to the chandeliered halls of power, Founding Mother is the unforgettable story of a woman ahead of her time, one whose voice, vision, and values still resonate powerfully today. Let me look. Okay, it does say that. So, I'm going to say something I can believe some people won't like. I wouldn't read this book. I wouldn't. I would try to find an actual history book and read it. It's like, because this is reminding me that, yeah, I think that what they're describing here, I think that is accurate. I could be wrong. Okay, I could very easily be wrong, but I think that is accurate. But it's just, it is a novel. And the problem is that by definition, a novel is fiction. So it's like, it's historical fiction that I'm looking at here. If she is actually this awesome, I want to read the history then. I want to read the truth. I don't want the fake. So I'm sorry, but yeah, that's kind of where this is. And this is in a way also frightening because I don't know how accurate it is. Let me be clear. I don't know. This might be very historically accurate, but it is a novel. So this by definition must be fiction. It might be very close to the truth. It might be. Or it might just be that, no, this is one level of a biography, but we've constructed a narrative making it like a novel, so it's approachable to people who prefer novels to history texts. Maybe. I don't know. But because I know a novel is supposed to be fiction, why would I read this to learn about an awesome lady instead of the actual history? And for those who choose to read this, instead of the history, what if there are lies in here that then they start thinking are true? That's what I mean by this could be dangerous. And even harmful. So, yeah, it's... I do not know. I do not know. Yeah. I do just want to see one thing. Should be down here somewhere. Okay, she would not be the America's founding mother. It would have been multiple, okay? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay. So it's a couple months old. That's fine. I legitimately was just wondering about that, is how old is this? Biographical and auto-fiction. So, yeah, so auto-fiction would be... It is self-fiction, right? So an autobiography you're writing is where you write about yourself. Auto-fiction is where you're technically writing how you wish your life was. So, yeah, it's... Which actually, oh man, that pisses me off. That really does. These should not be the same category. So this is getting me pissed off at Amazon. Like, biographical is supposed to be true. Like, you expect a biography to be accurate. Autofiction is fiction. It's false. So, yeah, and granted, fiction can be a way to tell truth better than just trying to be dry with it, trying to just share the history, yes. But still is biographical and autofiction, those are very distinctly different genres, because one you expect to be truthful, the other you expect to be false. You expect to be fiction, literally. It's in the word. So it's... yeah, that one... And also, as I said, the pearls aren't right. At least I'm pretty sure they're not. Neither is the hat, I think. Yeah. At least one thing I will grant. That is a bright blue. And because this is something that some people will point out constantly, because it doesn't even point out. For whatever reason, people like to think that in the past... it was very colorful. That it's like, oh yeah, people were going around just like browns and grays and just these dark, dirty colors. Like, no, humans have always enjoyed color. We made things as colorful as we could, and within taste. And we could wash things. I mean, it's like, yeah, it might have been you're going down to the stream and then using some rocks, but it still is yeah, you're gonna wash it, and so it'll stay colorful, especially if you're doing it right. So. Yeah, I appreciate that much, but yeah, yeah. 10605 for the last one. Okay. Killer isn't Alice. Brand new murder mystery puzzle concept. Okay. Is this a book or a puzzle? 22-year-old Alice Starling is missing. In her apartment, the police found 3 things: dead body, cryptic note, a binder of names. They don't know is that Alice entrusted you with a list of 18 clues that will reveal the killer's identity. She needs you to identify the culprit and prove her innocence. Stare down at the note, shaking, reading the first line over and over. It wasn't me. Why would you need to read that over and over? It's like, it wasn't me. It's like, okay, moving on. Why is it not you? It wasn't me. It's like, that begs the question. Give me the proof. I'm not going to read "it wasn't me" over and over again, okay? That's... For tips, help, solutions, and more available at The Killer Isn't Alice. Yeah. And I do kind of like this, where it looks like it is a file folder. This, though, reminds me too much of, like, a, Jackbox party pack game, because you would have icons like that in the corner. So, which, hey, don't get me wrong, those are fine games, but it's like, I'm looking at a book, aren't I? So, 18 clues, 1 killer. Can you solve the crime? Find 3 things: a dead body. Who is the dead body, though? Can you give us something? She insists she's innocent but needs your help. Who are you? Like, is this supposed to be me, actually, or because it would be more interesting if I don't know. This might be a kind of choose your own adventure kind of thing, but it is just she needs your help. It's like, why mine over somebody in the police? I mean, let's be real with some of the stuff where it's like, the evidence you gave over some of the evidence to a random person, even if it was a friend, and it's like, so they start investigating this instead of the police, or technically in parallel with the police. I could absolutely believe it's I've solved it. They come in. It was, oh, is this person? It's like, how did you know? We're the police. This is literally what we do. Yeah. In his written letter, Alice has left you with 18 specific clues and a list of 46,600 potential suspects. So she gave you a phone book. Somewhere in the sea of names hides murderer. And actually, now that I think about it, that would be about a phone book in size. That's going to be large. Use 18 clues of evidence Alice addressed to you. Eliminate the innocent without... So it's also a game of guess who. Identify the culprit. Find the one name that satisfies every single clue. New genre of interactive mystery. Get everything you know about whodunits. This first to be kind of immersive logic puzzle. is easy to grasp and impossible to put down. This is a pure test of logic, observation, deduction. Okay, I gotta look at this. Yeah. That. What are the clues? That's what I was hoping to find, not just this list of first names, even. So it's. I would hate this. Because, like, there's no apparent. Okay, that works too. There's no apparent pattern there, so it's like, how would I find that? Oh, yeah, I need to exclude Cynthia. It's like, where the hell is Cynthia? Hey, the 637 reviews. Hopefully that means that, those people are enjoying it. And it's 4.5 stars, so that's good. But it's like, what? What's the spiral bound look like? Same thing there, but I could believe this would be easy to work with. I got nothing though. I hope people are enjoying this, but it legitimately to me is just, what am I even looking at, and why should I care? I got nothing. It's not like, okay, who's the dead person? And I was really hoping. Okay, hang on. Maybe we get more from here. It's not okay. Okay, so that's literally just saying, hey, this is a special edition from us, but we are not the author or publisher. We're just a different print house. Okay. But yeah, it's like I don't see a narrative here. I don't see a story here. It's a game, but how far in there do we have to go to get to those 18 clues? It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I would just buy a game of Clue and find some friends, or I'd do Jackbox party pack game and just like start that up on Twitch or something. Be like, anyone find this one, join in. It's like, don't need to talk to you. Let's just do something. Yeah, I got nothing here. I don't think I had much luck picking things this month. Oh my god, like most of them were chick books, or just like things I wouldn't try. I mean, the only one of these that I actually felt anything towards is A Founding Mother. And as I said, that's not even to that book. I would want to find an actual biography on Abigail Adams. That's what I would want to do. So that I know I can trust it, because it says it's fiction. It says it's fiction, because it's a novel. Oh, man. I mean, here, let me put that in context. The Password is Courage is a biography. It is constructed in a novel format, in a story format. So in a narrative format, so it's easier to read. It reads like a novel, but it is a biography. Okay? It would be in that genre. It would not be under a novel. Actually, now I am. Yeah, this might be. And just grab the e-reader so I can try to find it. Password is Courage. Okay. John Castle, of all the escapes I've read of the last war, this is the most outstanding. Lieutenant Colonel F. Spencer Chapman. Okay. Marcus finished. I just wanted to check to see about it. Come on, brain, turn over. About if it said anything on there about it being like on the cover being a biography or a novel. Which I guess what I actually should have done. Hang on, I can open it back up. I think I got it from here. Yes. There we go. Right there. At some point, I do want to get that. I have it off of TCM. That's actually how I first learned about this. German history, World War II history, but it is marked as history because it is a biography. I just want to see if there's anything in here that really states that. I'm not seeing it. But it's still like, this is a biography. It is a history. That is the expectation. It is written in a format, in a narrative format, to make it easier to enjoy for a novel reader. Is paper back any different? Okay, let's look at this. Sergeant Major who rescued Jewish prisoners from Auschwitz and lived to accused Eichmann. Special Illustrated Edition. Okay. I'm just... Oh, that's not what I wanted. I was hoping to zoom in enough to be able to see that, but it's probably just something from the publisher. Mass market paperback? No, okay. But yeah, I mean, it's as I said, though, this is an actual biography, prisoners of war, history. So, but that Abigail Adams book, it specifically says it's a novel, which means it specifically says it's fiction. Why bother with that when I can look up an actual biography on her? So, because as I said, I think what it was describing for her is accurate, so it would be interesting to read. But I'd want to know I'm reading something true. So yeah, disappointing. All right. Guess I'll see you in a month. Enjoy the 4th of July since this is coming out then. All right. See ya.